Hi guys, gals, it's Alex Davidson with you. Let us talk a little bit about bank letters verification, or bank reference verification, or your account statements verification. It's called differently in different countries, but the idea, the gist is always the same, okay? We are asked sometimes how visa officers would verify my bank letters. And let's be absolutely honest here. Why you're asking? Well, simply because not everybody is ready to meet the requirements of federal skilled worker immigration. I mean financial requirements, because you have to have a certain amount in your bank statement, or you're trying to come to Canada temporarily and you got just a couple $1,000s, which is obviously not enough to demonstrate in your account, and you got much more in cash somewhere under the mattress. But look, I mean, sending a picture of your cash to visa authorities would not work. So what usually people would do, they somehow would cheat with that letter. Good enough if, say, an individual borrows money from a relative, puts those money in his or her account, and demonstrate this letter. That could work. I mean, and I certainly do not recommend it. Just keep in mind that visa officers could always request your banking history. But another example is situation where people simply use Photoshop, because well, what they believe is like the submission is electronic. Nobody would probably ask you for the hard copy, right? Visa officers would usually not dig that far. They don't need it at the moment. Chances are that they will not actually check it. Now here's an example. And it's a real life example, by the way. I don't usually would tell you the name of a client, obviously. But again, it's an example from two separate countries, one from Europe, one from Asia, so pretty much it works across all the continents. Now, visa authorities have serious doubts that this reference letter, this bank letter is genuine, or the numbers are genuine. So what they would do, they would pick up a phone and dial the bank. Yes, you could always tell me that, look, there's the bank secrecy, they're supposed to keep your privacy, of course. But what visa officers are doing, they usually are calling, asking that they got the certain letter from the bank with this reference number, because usually banks would provide that reference number, and they're just trying to verify the validity and genuinity of this letter. Like, have you actually issued it? Could you please have a look for me in there? And bank tellers typically would be able to provide the officer that information. And again, I understand the privacy is on the balance in here, right? But usually officers would not ask you how much money you got in your account. That's not the question. They're asking whether this letter has been issued or not. And what happened in the case which we were looking for, an applicant actually added 10, just one digit at the bottom, at the end of the number. So it was about $1,500, and somehow it turned out to be 15,000. Now, very important. Of course, it sounds stupid, but look, A, do not cheat with the documents. These officers would check them and verify them, and there's always anti-fraud unit. B, look, have you actually seen your real bank statement? I mean, typical one. You always got the uneven number there with the decimals, with the cents, with whatever currency you use, right? You would never have $15,000 and 0 cents. It just doesn't work this way. If you're trying to cheat, just do it at least smart. Again, it's not my recommendation. I'm just sharing with you my frustration when I seen it with the people coming in to me, because they actually were refused and they received that misrepresentation. They're banned from Canada for 5 years, and I was like, well, how did you just do it? Like, how did it come to your mind? Anyways, this video is about the reference check, the bank statements check, and keep in mind that officers would dial and they would verify it. Stay tuned with us.